joints right here, man, that you play when you feeling down on your ism, right? Play this shit right here and resuscitate your pimpin' and get you right back on your mission, right? For you hoes, this that shit you play when you ain't feeling like super hoe today. Play this shit right here and spark up your hoeing and get you right back going, you dig? Dig this. Pimps for real, don't mistake it for fashion. The turf that birthed my reputation for mashing was the track with active, attractive hoes. Professional goers that attract the dough. Like magnets to metal, never settle. We scorching them fag bitches pedal for them portions. My whores win it all. Not the ones on the sideline wishing but didn't ball in the guidelines. My bitches did it all. Down 7 below in the snow for dough. Over 120 in the sun for fun. They mash for hours, hooker baths, not showers. Bright and early, down and dirty for the cash and power. They gotta get the cash, the towers, and reach it all to a pimp. In my position, I'm all but exempt. These bras not wimps, I'm like them renegade bitches. BFFs with tricks but never getting paid riches. Grenade bitches, they dynamite, blowing up on the pimpin' and missing when the time is right. But when they life gets strife, they see pimpin' shining bright, but they action is life without. Bitch, one strike you out. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. See, that's the difference, nigga. The pimpin' mashin' for these riches, nigga. Nothing like you master magician, niggas. Smoking mirrors with your game, hella extras to reflect the opposite appearance of a lame. Bitches coming from y'all, I can't rock with those. Tender-footed and rooted in them doctor shows. Soft shoe rituals, minute residuals. Papers on life support, your loots and critical. Something I learned about when running my earned route and working with turnouts is murdering burnouts. Cause knocking one of you niggas for a scarred bitch, that's knocking one of you niggas for some garbage. I'm heartless regardless, empty with sympathy, but banked up to the max with pimpathy. No remedy for me, I'm like this. My life is vice grip, synced in permanent ink. You can't rewrite this. My blood type is P positive, beautifully deposited with a lot of it. I'm popping this shit, and when I pop it so hard I make a trapping ass bad bitch wanna hoe hard. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Come on, pimpin', man, pop that shit. Show these sucker niggas they can't stop that shit. Let these hookers know if they wanna cop that shit. Treat the bag like it's hot, bitch, and drop that shit. And to you hoes, if you ever took a loss, bitch, show these bitches how to bounce back like a boss, bitch. Let them know that the best way to floss, bitch, is reach that paper to some pimpin' hoe and toss it. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. One of them joints right here, man, that you play when you feeling down on your ism, right? Play this shit right here and resuscitate your pimpin' and get you right back on your mission, right? For you hoes, this that shit you play when you ain't feeling like super hoe today. Play this shit right here and spark up your hoeing and get you right back going, you dig? Dig this. Pimps for real, don't mistake it for fashion. The turf that birthed my reputation for mashing was the track with active, attractive hoes. Professional goers that attract the dough. Like magnets to metal, never settle. We scorching them fag bitches pedal for them portions. My whores win it all. Not the ones on the sideline wishing but didn't ball in the guidelines. My bitches did it all. Down 7 below in the snow for dough. Over 120 in the sun for The champ is here. The champ is here. What's happening, man? Pimping going on, man. What's happening with y'all, man? What's up with it? Yeah. Beautiful Friday. Beautiful Friday. It's going to be a gamed up Friday. You dig? Yeah, man. Y'all already know what to do, man. Hold up. As Pimp C would say, hold up. Hold up. Okay, here we go. Yeah, man, y'all already know what to do, man. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Hit that like button, the thing that look like that right there. You dig? You know what a pimp gonna do right now. You know a pimp got to hydrate his game. Yeah, man. Feeling great. Blessed. Counting blessings, man. You know, you can always focus on the shit that's wrong. You can always, get into a depression and, be overwhelmed by all the bullshit that's going on. But at the same time that there's some bullshit going on, there's always, as long as you above ground and you got warm blood flowing through your veins, oxygen, coming in and out of your lungs, hey, man, there's always blessings to count. I don't give a damn what your situation is. If you alive and you could hear this shit right now, you got blessings to count, man. You definitely got some blessings to count. Don't ever front on that. Don't ever become ungrateful. You dig? Always count your blessings, man. When I was sleeping in casino bathroom stalls about this pimping dough, you know what I mean? I always knew I was blessed when I didn't know how I was going to eat, you know what I mean? Or where I was going to shower or where I was going to sleep. You know what I mean? When I didn't know where my next trap was going to come from or, where my next 304 was going to come from. You dig? When my ribs was touching my back, you know what I mean? My stomach was touching my back, I always knew that I was blessed. That's why I ain't never worried about nothing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, count your blessings, man. We're going to get into this good game. Hold up. Let me hydrate my game one time. Yeah, man. And shout out to y'all, man. Had to give y'all a round of applause. Everybody that's up in here, you dig? Everybody that's blessed. Everybody that came here for some good energy. Anybody that came here for some game, you dig? Yeah, blessings to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Round of applause to y'all. Come on, man. Get them likes together, man. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Hit that like button. Only 47 of y'all done wiped your feet off at the door so far, but it's 80 of y'all up in here. Come on, man. Put some respect on this game. You dig? Yeah. I was just sitting here laughing at myself, man. Roasting the hell out of Tatalicious yesterday. Oh, and let me not forget, man. Shout out to the suckers too, man. Y'all factor into my greatness whether you realize it or not. You know what I mean? Shout out to the suckers, man. Keep talking about a pimp. Keep lying on a pimp. Keep slandering a pimp. Just as long as you got a pimp name in your mouth, you know what I mean? Whether it's a good taste or a bad taste or an ugly taste, man. Just keep a pimp name in your mouth. Keep talking shit. Keep letting people know about me who didn't know about me. Keep spreading the good gospel of this game. Just keep on, man. Keep going. You dig? Like Larry June would say, man, you're doing good. Good job, suckers. Keep going. You're doing good. Shout out Larry June, man. Yeah. Hold up. Okay. Okay, yeah, man. Chop this good game, man. Yeah, so man, we're gonna chop it up about this social media, man. This is an important one because a lot of people get very relaxed. As Sinful to P would say, they get very they allow the temperature to be on comfortability when it comes to social media, man. Hey, give me just a second. Give me like 10 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay. Had to get my Birdman hand on, you did, cause pimp hands can't be crusty, you did. I think I put too much lotion on. Don't you hate when you put too much lotion on your hands and you don't have nobody else to give it to? You know what I mean? You know how your mama used to do that when you was little? She'll put too much lotion on and then she'll start slapping your face and putting the lotion on your face and shit. You know what I mean? I ain't got no little kid to put the lotion on, or my kids or nothing, or a bad bitch, to put the lotion on. You dig? But it's all good. We gonna rub it in. But yeah, man, a lot of people allow the temperature of comfortability to be on when they on social media, man. And there's a lot of cats that ain't even the pimping. You don't even have to be the pimping to get caught up on social media. We're going to get into it. All you have to do is be careless. And social media has that kind of effect on people where it just makes you so comfortable that you become careless, right? And, a lot of cats who got caught up on social media didn't consider or think about that all it takes is one little mistake, and social media. See, the internet makes it where local authorities, abuse certain capabilities, and they break laws for the sake of getting people caught up on social media, right? They do things that under their jurisdiction isn't really allowed, or something that should be federal. The state or local authorities, wherever the situation may be, they abuse certain things and they do certain things, man. Just like, for instance, right now, this has happened on several occasions, and beyond just the game, we just talking about how local authorities, not the alphabet boys, but local authority, law enforcement, how they abuse certain things, right? There has been numerous situations that I know of where, somebody will be in a whole different state, right? And during the alleged crime in question, throughout the duration of that situation, from the beginning to the ninth inning, as Sinful to P would say, this person was never even in the state where the crime allegedly took place, right? But, if somebody in that state that get caught up says, oh, yeah, such and such who over there, 5 states away, they was involved in this with me too. They was here. They did this, they did that, without any probable cause other than somebody saying, this person did X, Y, Z. They're supposed to have probable cause when they book somebody, but a lot of times they don't. Or what they consider to be probable cause ain't really probable cause. But, they can make probable cause, obviously, whatever they want it to be. But they will go to a whole different state. You over here chilling, and you don't even know such and such over there, done implicated you in some shit. And, you was never there. You ain't even been talking to that person. But they just decide to put their pressure on you, put you in the mix. So you over here chilling. I know about people who done got caught up at their job. People who done got snatched up out of their home in a whole different state, right? But sometimes what they'll use is conversations on social media as probable cause. You might have been DMing somebody talking about that you was going to go to that state even though you never did. And, in some cases that'll be enough, right? So you just have to be careful, man. It amazes me how in 2025 people still be getting exposed with screenshots, right? Let's talk about you hornballs, you thirsty ass dudes, man. That just, you be so thirsty, as Sinful to Peace say, when your manhood is alive, you brain dead. How are you texting certain details and certain conversations, and then y'all, it done got, because technology done got better, right? A lot of times it don't even be screenshots. Y'all be letting people record you. You be letting these bras record you on video saying and doing just the dumbest shit, right? And what you don't understand is it's that same level of carelessness that will have you booked, that will have you in a jumpsuit, that will have you eating nasty ass peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or nasty ass bologna sandwiches, right? It's that same carelessness that you had when you let that chick record you saying some goofy ass shit, or, she recorded you doing some goofy ass shit. The same carelessness that let you go out of your way to text some goofy ass shit to somebody that they could screenshot and have, as evidence or whatever. Y'all be threatening people via text message. Y'all be threatening people on video, not understanding that there's people walking a yard right now just for saying, I'll do XYZ to you. It's people on the yard. They didn't do nothing else. That's all they did. It's people on the yard for less than that. But it's people on the yard, for being careless with their mouth, and that's it. They didn't hurt nobody. They didn't do anything to nobody. They didn't take anything from anybody. They simply were careless with their mouth, and they sitting on a yard, right? So this same type of carelessness, it filters in to a lot of people's campaign on the internet, right? And man, I remember, one of my buddies, right? I can't, I don't want to get into too much details, but the Alphabet Boys, they had an operation on a platform. I don't even want to say what platform it was on, right? But they had an operation going on a platform. The operation kicked off from a post that somebody made, right? Somebody made a post and they tagged like 80 people. The person that made this post tagged like 80 people in this post, including myself, right? I was one of the 70-something, 80-something people that was tagged on this post, right? So that post kicked off an operation. I don't want to say the name of it, but it kicked that off, right? So what them people started doing, everybody who was on that post that got tagged on that post, they started sending decoys at them, right? And one of my partners got caught up. He was one of the few that did something other than what the majority did, right? Because out of the 80-something people that got tagged on that post, I can't remember, but it was I want to say like a good 20 or something got caught up on that shit, right? But the cat that I'm talking about, he got caught up because he went to go actually physically meet the decoy, right? So that's how but he was one of few that got caught that. I think maybe him and one other person got caught up that way. They actually went to go meet the decoy in person, right? Everybody else who got caught up, because when he got out, I seen him and I pulled up on him. We was chopping it up, right? He was telling me about it. And he was like, yeah, P, they tagged you on there too. And I was like, damn. And he was like, But the reason why you didn't probably get caught up, Freeze, is because you didn't offer to buy no bitch a ticket. See, this is why it just pays to pimp. This is why it pays to just, do things by the book. This is why it pays to have, to value yourself and not just be trying to cut corners and take shortcuts and do shit the easy way and all of that. This is why it pays to pimp, right? Pay attention. He was like, yeah, P, you probably didn't get caught up because you didn't offer to buy nobody a ticket. He said the majority of people on there, they was talking to the decoy on the thing, and then they end up offering to buy the decoy a ticket. Next thing you know, they booked. He said, I was one of the only people that didn't go that route. I actually went to go physically meet the decoy, and that's how I got booked. But he said everybody else, they offered to buy a ticket. And some of these people, y'all know who if you in the game, you know some of these people. And you know some of them just be popping it like they just doing some big old pimping. Like they just got so much game. And that's the cold part. Some of them do have game. But again, when the temperature is on comfortability, that, leaves room to be careless. Right? I've never offered nobody to buy a ticket. Especially not on no damn social media. You dig? Pimp don't get down like that. If I have to buy you a ticket to come get with me, then, that says a number of things. It says, first of all, that you're not that serious about getting to me, let alone serious about really messing with me on a serious level. Because if you were serious, as the old cliche goes, where there's a will, there's a way. So if you have the will, you will figure out the way to get to my pimping, and then we'll go from there, right? So if you don't even have the will to get to me, even if it's a Greyhound, train, plane, whatever it is, at the most it's going to be like a few $100s, right? It don't take a life savings to get from point A to point B anywhere in the world, right? So if a chick saying all this shit about how she want to come mess with me, and y'all be going for that shit too, like, oh, it's, I'm really trying to get it up, but it's slow over here, my phone ain't ping binging, I can't, it ain't no track over here, there ain't no bars or casinos or nothing, I'm in this little town and it's just so slow and I just been barely making it. Hey, I don't give a damn about none of that. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? So if she don't have a way, then that means she don't have the will, and that means that she's not serious about messing with me. And I can foresee the problems that are going to come if I send for this chick, if I buy her a ticket, right? This stranger that I've never had any dealings with on a real level that I don't know. If I have to buy her a ticket to come get with me, somebody that's supposed to be paying me, how does that look? Somebody that's supposed to be paying me, I'm paying for them to get to me before they even pay me. That's crazy. Right? But back to, my original point. Like I said, P told me, he was like, yeah, P, you didn't offer to buy nobody a ticket. That's why you didn't get caught up. Right? So, the thing is, man, what a lot of you do on social media and how you get so careless is because you so focused on what you want to gain from the situation that you don't think about what you already have in spite of the situation. What you have is your freedom. What you have, as Sinful to P would say, is your liberty in society, right? What you have is, your health. And, if you have loved ones that depend on you, you have the wherewithal to take care of them, be a blessing to them. You could go pull up on whatever loved ones you want, when you want, how you want, all of that. You putting all of this on the line for a chick that's just saying something but ain't proved a damn thing. She ain't proved nothing to you. She just talking good.
How you the pimping and you falling for a bitch that's talking good? That's crazy. You know? And it's funny because a lot of these dudes did have been stupid as hell and fell for this type of shit, be having the audacity to talk about my pimping. Hey, man, you know, I ain't never been that stupid, though. I ain't always been the smartest. I done done some dumb shit, too, but I ain't never been that kind of stupid, right? That's not even, you know, a mistake that a pimp should ever make, right? But again, like I said, you have to be careful because this doesn't only happen to pimps. This doesn't only happen to street people, right? You have a lot of square men, you know, especially square black men that don't understand, you know, the vulnerability that comes with just being a black man in America. It don't matter what you do. You could be the pastor of a church. You give out turkeys on Thanksgiving. You could donate to charities. You know, you could win Humanitarian of the Year award in your community, whatever the case. If you black and you in America, this shit could happen to you. You know what I mean? You could easily get caught up, right? You don't have to be committing crime. They want you. And if you give them the opportunity and you give them the power, they will get you, right? So, it reminds me of this square chick that I know, her baby daddy. He was one of the first guys in California when they changed the laws from, you know, PNP to HT. I don't even want to say them words on here, right? But some of y'all know it as HT, some of y'all know it as ST. You know, when they came up with these new laws in California, he was one of the first people to get booked. You know, for anybody that's in the game who remembers, you know, when this was taking place, like around 2013, 2014, hey, Orange County was on a rampage. Orange County was booking anything that even remotely looked like, smelled like, you know, felt like anything close to pimping. You know what I mean? In Orange County, you could say the word pimp and get booked back then. You know what I mean? You could think it in your head without saying it. Like you could think about, you know, a Pimp C song. They gonna read your mind and book your ass just for thinking about Pimp C. That's how crucial Orange County was at this time, right? But this guy who, like I said, this square chick is her baby daddy, he is not the pimping at all. Ain't never tried to pimp. You know what I mean? But he was one of the first people to get booked when they changed the law. He was like, when I say one of the first, he was like within the first 5 people, probably within the first 3 people that got booked for this shit, right? When they first changed the law, right? And you know what happened was, he was dealing with a young lady that was in the game, and it just, you know, it went left from there. I don't know all the details as to, you know, how it went left. What I do know is that, you know, he had a girlfriend, a prostitute for a girlfriend, right? He a complete square. And see, this is why, you know, like I've talked about this before, but I probably will make another video about it soon, you know, like an actual video about it where, you know, how senseless it is for a square woman to be in a relationship. I mean, a chick in the game to be in a relationship with a square man, you know, because shit like this happens, right? They end up charging this dude with the HT. You know, fortunately for him, you know, they didn't throw the book at him. I think he did at least 5 years, maybe a little longer than that. I can't remember exactly how much time he did. But this is somebody who went to the joint for, you know, something that they send pimps to the joint for, and this is a complete square. Ain't never been to prison before, ain't never been in that kind of trouble. You know what I mean? Complete square. Right? So you have to be careful, man. And see, like I said, on social media, man, see, this is how I look at things, right? The better technology becomes, the easier it is to get caught up in some bullshit. And again, you don't have to be a criminal. See, y'all just got to pay attention to what's going on. Look at what's going on. Puffy locked up. Harvey Weinstein locked up. R. Kelly locked up. Bill Cosby, they sent to the penitentiary for 3 years. These ain't street people. These ain't gangsters. These ain't people that just be in the hood on the block, doing what dudes on the block be doing. These are businessmen, complete squares, right? But they locked up. And, it has a lot to do with how good technology is now, right? So the better technology becomes, the easier it is to get locked up, right? When Instagram come with a new feature, like back in 2016 when they started letting us go live on Instagram, it's like, oh shit, I can go live and talk shit. People could watch me live. Then, a year or so later, YouTube came with the capability of you going live. It's like, oh shit, this is dope. Then, every platform got it where you could video call somebody. You could video call on Instagram. You could video call on Snapchat, Facebook, damn near all the platforms you could video call on. So it's like, they keep coming out with all these new features. Then they made it where you can add people to the live. They kept coming out with all these new features. But what you have to understand is, again, the better technology becomes, the easier it is for you to get caught up, right? And then it's by design. You get so comfortable. I've seen people live on social media chopping it up like they at the house. Like we all kicking it at the crib. On a platform where anybody could get on and watch and listen and record, screen record, and all that shit. They just be chopping it up like about personal shit that like this shit shouldn't be talked about on the internet. But they get so comfortable because this is my brother or this is my partner or this is my sister or, somebody that I'm tight with, and we chop it up and kick it all the time. Now we online doing it. You get so comfortable to the point where you forget you even online. You forget that it's strangers watching and listening and possibly recording, right? And it's crazy. This is how addictive this shit is. This shit is so addictive that them people recently let you know that a lot of the evidence that they gathered to book the people that they booked was based on podcasts. They was watching podcasts and listening to what people were saying on podcasts, and that strengthened their ability to go book them. That gave them what they need to go book them. People talking on podcasts. Getting into details, naming names about what they done did something to, and who they done did something to, and all that, like just. But in spite of all of that, there are still going to be people who disregard those signs and still get on the internet and, just make themselves a target. And not only make themselves a target, but make themselves an easy target. Right? So, you got to be careful, man. And one thing that's going to help you to be careful is to keep your value in mind, to understand what's important to you. Like I said all the time, man, and like I said at the beginning of this video, you got to count your blessings. See, when you get into the spirit of counting your blessings, you realize how what you have is important to you, because a lot of y'all are blessed abundantly. But because you're not in the habit of counting your blessings, you don't understand the importance of the blessings. You minimize and undermine the blessings. You take the blessings for granted, right? Your ability to get up right now and go to the refrigerator and grab a glass of orange juice or, milk or whatever it is, go in there and grab a slice of cake, whatever it is that you like, your ability to go outside and, kick back on the grass and enjoy the sun whenever you feel like it, right? You take all that shit for granted because you don't get into the habit of counting those blessings, right? So, on the same token of you not being in the habit of counting your blessings, you focus on the shit that you don't have that you want. And you focus on it to a point where you willing to jeopardize all these blessings that you have for a chance to get what you don't have. Right? And you taking a big chance. And, you doing it on social media, and it's crazy because it be supposed to be pimps that are just this careless. We all done seen screenshots and shit get exposed on the different, pages or profiles on Instagram. You got certain pages on there to be exposing people in the game, and you see some of the goofy shit that these dudes be doing, how they be incriminating themselves, like them people won't come get your ass based on a video that you put out, or, based on something that's on your story, or, it's just crazy, man. And then like stuff like that too. Like, it's just so much to learn. This video is about campaigning on the internet, but it's beyond just campaigning. It's just about carelessness on the internet, right? And how the slightest bit of carelessness will have you locked up or unalived. Pop Smoke is not here because he accidentally revealed his location in a video. People looked at the video, saw something in the video that had his location on it, and then went to that location and took his life. That's crazy. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke. The internet, carelessness on the internet is why that young man is gone. Barely made it to 20 years old. Had all the potential in the world. Pop Smoke's supposed to be, enjoying life right now. He still wouldn't even be 30 years old. He'd barely be 25. He supposed to be somewhere, hitting some bad broads, checking a whole bunch of money, taking care of his mama and his family, and, he's supposed to be somewhere doing his thing right now. But, and people still don't learn from those type of situations. Now, that happened in 2020, right? Pop Smoke lost his life in 2020. And he's not the first person that this happened to, but, on that scale, it was just like a big, well-publicized example of, like a cautionary tale, right? That happened in 2020. Fast forward to 2025, you still have people with that same level of comfortability, right? Now, I don't know how accurate it is because I haven't looked into it, but they say that, and I hate to even say that they say that ain't even really my style, But people will still do it. But allegedly, Sauce Walka and Say So P, they revealed their location on social media. And now Say So P is no longer with us. Rest in peace to Say So P. Right? Pop Smoke. I mean, not Pop Smoke, Sauce Walka, excuse me. Sauce Walka, was hit. By the grace of God, he's still with us. But, and again, people get so comfortable on social media that after, that happened not too long ago. And I guarantee you that a lot of you who saw that situation are still that careless, or even more careless than that on the internet. It's crazy. There's so many things to learn from, but like I said, as technology gets better, it gets easier to get locked up or caught up or, unalived or whatever the case may be, right? But on that same token, if you're mindful, if you're so inclined, the better technology becomes, the better you're able to protect yourself, the better you're able to guard yourself, the better you're able to vet different people and figure out if they deserve your energy, your time, your presence. A lot of people just don't be inclined to utilize technology in their favor. Because you're so comfortable with technology, you allow it to work against you. You use technology against yourself. But again, if you're so inclined, technology can protect you. It can save you from a lot of shit. It really can. Then save me from a lot of shit. How I say all the time, how you see is how you gonna be. So if you see technology as something that can protect you, then it will be something that can protect you. But it can't be what you can't see. If you don't see it that way, it ain't gonna be that way. Come on, man. Y'all really, 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 really tripping, man. You mean to tell the pimp, you dig that it's 192 of y'all up in here, but only 132 of y'all done wiped your feet off at the door when you stepped into a pimp's domain? Are you serious? Man, y'all cold-blooded, man. Y'all got to put some respect on this pimping, man. Do a pimp a favor. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Hit that like button, the thing that look like that there. You dig? Let me hydrate my game one more again. Yeah. Speaking of Pop Smoke, man, I might work out to some Pop Smoke tonight when I go to the gym. Pop Smoke be having you on charge in the gym for real. It's unfortunate, man, that so many young cats' lives done got took, man. One of my favorite young cats, man, that whose life got taken away was Briss, man. Rest in peace to Briss out of Sacramento, man. Briss was hard, man. Like, if Briss would have been able to live, man, god damn, man. I'm so mad they took Briss from us, man. Briss was hard. He didn't even get a chance to make enough music, man. But I messed with Briss music hard. Like, Briss was hard. He was dope. You know what I mean? Briss was going to be big, man. He was going to be one of the biggest things on the West Coast if he would have been able to continue, man. Like, Briss, that youngster was hard. But yeah, man, back to the original topic of campaigning on the internet. If we just speak in terms of campaigning again, man, a lot of y'all get too comfortable, man. And a lot of y'all on social media, because of comfortability on there, you've been doing a lot of shit that is somebody currently locked up for right now. A lot of the shit that you do, you just been blessed. God been moving you out of the way of bullets like this. Like if a bullet come your way right here, God do this to you. You know what I mean? Somebody shoot at you right here, God do this to you. God just been helping you dodge bullets and you don't even know it. God just been sliding you out the way. You know what I mean? God just been, you know what I mean? He been moving you out the way and you don't even realize the shit, right? But he ain't been doing that with everybody. God be allowing some people to catch them bullets and they locked up as a result. You dig? And, a lot of y'all, again, you just so careless, man. Asking chicks certain questions in the DM. Asking chicks certain questions via text. Asking chicks certain questions over the phone. You know what I mean? You can't trust nobody to that extent, right? See, a lot of y'all seen a video of me a few years ago, right? And this was a lesson for me. Fortunately, it didn't turn out bad, and I don't want y'all to think that I'm perfect or trying to portray myself as somebody that's perfect and without blemish and, somebody that don't make mistakes, right? My P don't stand for perfect. But a few years ago, a lot of y'all seen a video of me, as Sinful to P would say, being a hairstylist to a student of mine, right, at the time. What a lot of you don't know is that, first of all, that chick in the video was in her 20s, grown-ass woman. A lot of people were slandering, saying that, the individual was young, but a lot of y'all in the game know who that is in the video, right? She's a well-known person in the game, far from underage, but that's beside the point. Y'all seen the video of me, being a hairstylist to this chick, right? What a lot of you don't know is that it was another student of mine who recorded the video. Some of y'all was so silly that you was like, man, why would Freeze record himself doing that? Why would he? Y'all thought I propped my phone up like this and recorded myself checking the bra. Y'all thought I did this. This is what a lot of y'all thought I did. Y'all thought I put my phone up like that, then I went over there and started checking the broad. No, you goofballs. Anybody who thought that stupid ass shit was silly. No, what it was is I was checking one student and another student was recording the shit, right? That was extremely careless on my part. And I learned a valuable lesson from that experience. And I have since tightened up. You dig? This just goes to show you that, you have to be extremely careful, for one, but two, you can't just trust any and everybody to the fullest extent. You got to treat your life like a house, right? Or like a kingdom. Some people you can trust at the curb, right? You're going to talk to them on the curb. You're going to deal with them on the curb. You're not even going to let them on your doorstep, right? Because that's as far as you could trust them. They've only earned that small degree of trust with you where you talking to them on the curb. Then some people you can probably trust at your doorstep, but you ain't going to trust them enough to let them inside your house, right? Then some people you trust well enough to let inside your house, but they might not be trustworthy enough to let into the guest bedroom and spend the night, right? Then you have people that you can trust in the guest bedroom, spend the night, but you don't trust them in your master bedroom, right? The person that you allow into your master bedroom, that's somebody who's fully earned your trust, right? Somebody that's tried and true. Somebody who has stood the test of time, just somebody that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can trust, right? A lot of y'all be letting the person that you supposed to leave on the curb, a lot of y'all be letting that person in your master bedroom of your life. And this person ain't done nothing to show you that they even worthy to be on your doorstep, let alone in your master bedroom. But you letting them in your master bedroom. Yeah, that broad that your goofy ass got in her DM, you don't even know if she's a real person. You ain't never seen her go live. You just seen her profile, and she got videos of her supposed to be herself shaking her ass and all this shit. And you thought she was so attractive that you got in her DM and you was like, yeah, baby, you need to come choose me. You need to come mess with me. You know what I mean? I'm going to boss you up like this and boss you up like that. That's somebody that's supposed to be on the curb. But when you say all that shit in her DM, you're letting her into your master bedroom. And you don't even know this chick. You ain't even had a conversation with her. You just get in her DM and immediately start blasting off. You letting her inside your master bedroom. So when she come into your master bedroom and now she got full access to the household of your life, and she start destroying shit up in there and breaking shit and taking shit and telling other people, yeah, come over here. This is where he at. Come get him. You can't be mad at nobody but yourself. So it's so simple. Like I said, if you allow technology to work in your favor, man, it can protect you. Right? Because I ain't going to give you all the game, and I ain't going to give you too much game. And some game I'm going to withhold, for off of social media. But I'll just say this. If you're inclined, there's so many ways on technology or with technology to position somebody to prove themselves. Right? There's so many ways to position somebody to prove themselves. Right? If you just so inclined, if you just use your mind and just think. And when you're using your mind and you thinking, you have your value in mind. You have what's important to you in mind, which is your freedom in your life. Right? If you thinking about, okay, this chick look cool. She giving me action. I don't know this chick, but she giving me action. Okay. What can I do to figure out if she's worthwhile without compromising my freedom and without compromising my life? Right? Because again, that chick that you're supposed to leave on the curb that you letting into your master bedroom, not only can she put them people in your business, but she might set you up to get robbed or hurt or unalived. This type of shit happens too. You know what I mean? It's people out there that met a chick on social media, was talking to her in a DM. Then next thing you know, they link up with the chick, and the next thing you know after that, they tied up and getting booked. Like we say in California, getting booked is like getting robbed. They getting robbed. They got set up by this chick in the DM. Because they was, mesmerized by how fine she was. All they was thinking about was getting in her pants. But they wasn't thinking about what it was going to cost them to not even be able to get in their pants. You know, and you know, it was gonna be at the expense of, you know, them, you know, getting robbed by some YNs with Pooh Shiesty masks on and all that type of shit. You know, like I said, this stuff happens to squares all the time. You know? A lot of them goofy ass passport bros going to other countries and getting unalived because now you in a country that you're a foreigner to. You ain't even from this land. But you want to get in somebody's pants so bad that you just over there moving reckless on technology in a place that, you know, you don't even have any recourse if something happens to you. Right? These are squares. These ain't people in the game. These ain't people that, you know, trying to come up on some money. They just out there trying to have a good time. But because they so careless, they ain't gonna never make it back home unless it's in a pine box or a body bag. For real. Because they let technology work against them. Because they went to a different country and the chick that's supposed to be on the curb in this other country that they not even from, they let her in the master bedroom of their life. And it ended up costing them their life. And then just think about it. What is it all for? Some twat? You putting all of this on the line for some twat. For real, though. Like, really think about that. You could potentially lose your life in another country. You putting your life on the crap table for some twat. Come on, man. It's 2025, man. Like I said, if you're so inclined, there are so many ways that technology can protect you. There are so many ways that you can position somebody on technology to prove whether or not they're trustworthy to a certain extent. And then once you figure out that they're trustworthy to a certain extent, you can go from there. Or you might figure out that they're not trustworthy at all and just completely leave their ass alone. For real. Come on, man. It's a good amount of y'all, man, that ain't wiped your feet off at the door. It's 222 of y'all, 222. But only 174 of y'all done wiped your feet off at the door when you stepped into a pimp's domain. Do a pimp a favor. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Hit that like button. And on that note, we're going to take a quick intermission. You dig? Wait, before we do the intermission, let me do this real quick. Hold on. Can't forget to do this. DK, good looking with the $20 holla. Peace and blessings and respect to you, Freeze, and everyone in the chat. DK, appreciate you, man. Brother Tyler, as always, good looking with the $2 holla. Hit the like. Appreciate you, man. eBooks, good looking with the $2 holla. Tricks got to be careful too. Yeah, man, this applies to anybody. Like I said, you don't have to be somebody in the game, you know? It's all kind of people getting caught up as a result of carelessness and comfortability on social media. It ain't just the pimping shit. It's all kind of squares getting caught up. You know what I mean? Marriages getting ruined. Just all kind of shit, man. You know, careers getting ruined. You know? This how comfortable people are. You know, Donald Sterling, this man lost an NBA team Donald Sterling lost the Clippers because of one word that he said on a recording that he didn't realize was taking place. Comfortability. Because this man was so comfortable, he said something that probably every other, pink toe professional team owner that said, but he slipped up and let somebody record his ass, and as a result ended up losing the team. NBA came and snatched the team from his ass. You dig? Technology. See, once upon a time, technology wasn't like that. It wasn't like that where just everybody can record you. You got to be careful, man. But good looking. Next level, good looking with the $5 holla. Ego is at the root of these people getting caught up. Clout is more addictive than crack cocaine in the 80s. You ain't never lied, man. I say it all the time, man. Clout is like the strongest drug on the market right now, the most addictive, you dig, and is doing the most damage, man. That clout. Because, see, one thing about clout, unlike any other drug, it's all kinds of people addicted to it, man. Righteous people, good people. It's all kind of people addicted to clout, strung out on it right now. You dig? Joe Blast, what's up with you, man? Appreciate you, as always. Good looking with the $5 holla. Respect, Freeze. Respect to you as well, Joe Blast. Good looking. Carlos Enriquez, my loved one. Oh, shit, somebody just didn't wipe their feet off at the door. They hit a pimp with the dislike. It's all good, though. I appreciate you. But Carlos Enriquez, as always, man, good looking with the $10 holla. Blessings to the game and the motivation from a wise one. Carlos Enriquez, man, always, man, I appreciate you. But we're going to take a quick break like Chuck Woolery used to say back in the days. We'll be back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Y'all stay right there, man. Pimp be right back.
It's one of them joints right here, man, that you play when you feeling down on your ism ride. Play this shit right here and resuscitate your pimping and get you right back on your mission, ride. For you hoes, just that shit you play when you ain't feeling like super hoe today. Play this shit right here and spark up your hoeing and get you right back going, you dig? Dig this. Pimps for real, don't mistake it for fashion. The turf that birthed my reputation for mashing was the track with active, attractive hoes. Professional goers that attract the dough. Like magnets to metal, never settle. We scorching them fag bitches pedal for them portions. My whores win it all. Not the ones on the sideline wishing but didn't ball in the guidelines. My bitches did it all. Down 7 below in the snow for dough. Over 120 in the sun for fun. They bash for hours, hooker baths, not showers. Bright and early, down and dirty for the cash and power. They gotta get the cash, the towers, and reach it all to a pimp. In my position, I'm all but exempt. These bras not wimps, I'm like them renegade bitches. BFFs with tricks but never getting paid riches. Grenade bitches, they dynamite, blowing up on the pimpin' and missing when the time is right. But when they life gets strife, they see pimpin' shining bright, but they action is life without. Bitch, one strike, you out. Can't stop, won't stop, poppin' pimpin' nigga. Can't stop, won't stop, smashing on these bitches, nigga. Can't stop, won't stop, poppin' pimpin' nigga. Can't stop, won't stop, smashing on these bitches, nigga. Can't stop, won't stop, poppin' pimpin' nigga. Can't stop, won't stop, smashing on these bitches, nigga. Can't stop, won't stop, poppin' pimpin' nigga. Can't stop, won't stop, smashing on these bitches, nigga. See, that's the difference, nigga. The pimpin' mashing for these riches, nigga. Nothing like you master magician, niggas. Smoking mirrors with your game, hella extras to reflect the opposite appearance of a lame. Bitches coming from y'all, I can't rock with those. Tender-footed and put it in them doctor shows. Soft shoe rituals, minute residuals, papers on life support, your loots and critical. Something I learned about when running my earned route and working with turnouts is murdering burnouts. Cause knocking one of you niggas for a scar bitch, that's knocking one of you niggas for some garbage. I'm heartless regardless, empty with sympathy, but banked up to the max with pimpathy. No remedy for me, I'm like this. My life is vice grip, synced in permanent ink. You can't rewrite this. My blood type is P positive, beautifully deposited with a lot of it. I'm popping this shit, and when I pop it so hard I make a trapping ass bad bitch wanna hoe hard. Can't stop, won't stop, popping pimpin' nigga. Can't stop, won't stop, smashing on these bitches.
All right, man, we right back at it. So, I guess I could give y'all a little bit of free game, man, that can be helpful in you dodging some bullets, right? You know, a lot of y'all meet chicks on social media. I meet chicks on social media too, right? This is a bit of free game that is kind of, you know, you would expect it to be common sense, but as we say, common sense ain't that common. And it's very simple, but it's extremely effective, and you cannot underestimate this little bit of free game I'm about to give you, right? Hey, man, if you talking to a chick on social media, one of the first things you should do is get her phone number, right? And before you use that phone number, Google the phone number. Man, Google is your friend. Y'all just be neglecting Google, man. Y'all don't be trying to hang out with Google, or you be using Google for the wrong reasons, man. You know what I mean? You smash and dash Google, man, for some bullshit. You don't even utilize Google for what she really for, man. You know, Google is your friend if you allow Google to be your friend. When you meet a chick on social media, man, one of the first things you need to do before you even have like a real conversation with her, before you get to saying too much, get her phone number. And if she in the game and she got multiple phone numbers, like a lot of 304s do, get all of her phone numbers. If she got 3 of them, get all 3 of them phone numbers. But get her phone number and Google it, right? It's going to tell you a lot about what's going on, right? So what I look for when I Google somebody's phone number, this, you know, allegedly in the game, hey, man, see where they been. See if they only got like 1 or 2 digital footprints in the same location. Then, you know, it might be kind of sketchy. But if they have digital footprints way over here, way over there, way over there, digital footprints from 2024, 2023, 2022. Okay, this is a real person. I could take it a step further with this individual, because at least I could see, based on these digital footprints, that, you know, it's real movement going on, right? But again, somebody who only got 1 or 2 digital footprints from a week ago in this same place, and, you know, the footprint stopped right here, nah. You're going to have to take some other recourse before you move forward with that individual. And it's possible that nothing may come up when you Google this number on this chick, right? But that right there, man, it's been so crucial. It's been so helpful for so many of us in the game, man. And again, like I said, it's very simple, and you would think that it's common sense, but a lot of you do not do it. It's not mandatory. It's not imperative to you. It just sounds like a cool idea, but no big deal if I don't do it. No, Google the bitch number. It's going to save you. It's cats walking the yard right now. It's cats in a graveyard right now that could have avoided it if they Googled the number. That little simple thing can save you a world of trouble. Google the number, man. For real. You know, another thing, when you talking to somebody on social media, when you meet a young lady on social media, again, this is something very simple that a lot of you just do not do. You will carry on talking to somebody on social media for weeks and months, and you haven't even done this very simple thing. This crucial, and that is identify who you talking to. Identify who you talking to. Put a face with it. Put a face with it. You have to see this person. You know what I mean? And when I say put a face with it, I'm not talking about, oh, she got a bunch of pictures and videos posted on her page so she cool, or, you know, she posted videos on her story so she cool. No. In real time, identify who you talking to. Video chat with this chick. You know what I mean? Or if you ain't gonna video chat with her, have her send you a video with specific details, specific instructions that, you know, she can't just make up like that, or, you know, AI could do in 2 seconds. No. You know, give her specific instructions. Yeah, send me a video with you doing whoopty whoop and saying whoopty whoop. Send that right now. It's very simple, but a lot of you don't do it. But the best thing to do is video chat with the individual. I don't give a damn who say they know her. You have to know her. Your partner might be like, oh yeah, I done seen her down. No, video call the chick. It's very simple. And if she don't want a video call with you, then she don't want to mess with you. Leave her alone. She got something to hide. Leave her alone. You ain't got nothing to hide. You ready to video call her. If she's not ready to video call you, leave her alone. She got something to hide. See, again, this is how technology saves you. I'll give you an example. Once upon a time, this chick got at me, right? She got in my DM, and the profile looked super sketchy. There was no profile picture. There were no posts. And, you know, this chick was only following like 1 or 2 people, and the same thing in return. Like 1 or 2 people was following her, right? Super sketchy. But this individual got in my DM and was like, you know, ... you know, yada, yada, XYZ, right? So I didn't just write her off, right? Because that alone doesn't mean that somebody got bad intentions for you. You know, one of the things that was said, which could have been a lie, but I did my due diligence to prove that she was, you know, what she was saying lined up with the truth, right? But she was like, yeah, you know, I just made this profile. I don't really be on social media like that, but I seen you on YouTube, yada, yada, whoopty whoop, right? And she was like, I created this profile really just to talk to you on here. So that's why it looked like this, right? Now anybody could say that. And, you know, my bullshit radar goes up. You know, this sounds like bullshit, but at the same time, I know what to do to position this individual to prove themselves, right? So I simply utilize technology to make this individual prove who they are, and they did that with no problem. I said, hey, do this. They did it with no problem. Now I know who I'm talking to, right? So then we take it a step further, you know, and I position this individual to prove themselves again. You know what I mean? Then I get the phone number. I Google the phone number. I see digital footprints everywhere. Okay, cool. Right? Then we take it a step further. You know, now this person is putting their money where their mouth is. Nice money where their mouth is too at that. Right? But again, I didn't let the appearance be the interference. I didn't look at it like, oh man, this is some bullshit. This fake ass page. No. A lot of y'all would have wrote that off. Right? But like you would have wrote that off, a lot of y'all let somebody that you could see that got a lot of, you know, posts and all this old type of shit, you'll let somebody like that catch you up. But somebody that really want to mess with you, that got this bullshit looking profile, you going to let that pass you by. Because you letting the appearance be the interference. No, like I say all the time, game is the solution for everything. Game is the solution for everything. Apply game to everything. Don't let nothing cross your path where you're not applying game. Apply game to everything. Most of y'all would have seen that profile and you would have blocked it. And you know what's crazy? Like I said, that person, she put her money where her mouth was. And then after that, I never heard from her again. And this been years ago. You know what I mean? I sent her through the channels, made her prove herself. Then she put her money where her mouth is, and she ghosted me. She ghosted the pimp. You know what I mean? She toasted with a pimp, and then she ghosted the pimp. You know what I mean? Like, for real, though. And maybe that's all she wanted to do. Maybe she was satisfied with that. You know what I mean? Maybe she really didn't want to mess with me like that. For whatever reason, I don't know. But she put her money where her mouth was, though. And then ghosted the pimp. And I haven't heard from this individual. I don't know where they at. I don't know who they dealing with. I don't know what they doing with their life right. Man, this was a long time ago. This was years and years and years ago. Right? Matter of fact, this was like in my early days on YouTube, man. Like, I might not even had 10,000 subs at that time, man. I was like, it's a long time ago. Right? But I'm just giving you an example of how game is the solution for everything, right? Apply game, man. Use your brain. You know? And, you know, also, man, the game ain't for everybody. You know, I have to say that. The game is not for everybody. A lot of y'all that's in the game don't belong in the game. You know, you want everybody else to give you the answers. You don't want to bump your head. You don't want to go through it to get to it. You don't want to utilize your brain to the fullest capacity. A lot of y'all don't belong in the game. And that's fine if you don't. It doesn't mean you're a horrible person. It don't make you any less of a man. But a lot of y'all don't belong in the game. Because a lot of y'all ain't going to play for keeps. But the world is playing for keeps all the time, though. That's why you got to play for keeps all the time when you in the game. Or really just period. Even if you ain't in the game. You got to always play for keeps. But a lot of y'all ain't always playing for keeps. The world is always playing for keeps. The world is never not playing for keeps. The world is always playing for keeps. The government always playing for keeps. Police always playing for keeps. The streets always playing for keeps. You got to play for keeps too. I'm playing for keeps. For real. Playing to win. So, you know, like I said, man, a lot of y'all ain't even supposed to be in the game. But, you know, the sooner you realize that, the better off you'll be and, you know, could do something more meaningful with your time. And you won't even have to risk, you know, suffering from certain things that, you know, people carelessly do in the game all the time. On the internet, on social media. Just being careless, man. Appreciate y'all getting the likes on one accord with the viewers. You dig? Short change crazy. Got $10,000 in $1 bills. Strippers won't get $1 free show. What they say, it ain't tricking if you got it. Ain't that what they say? But yeah, man, a lot of y'all be reason why you be getting caught up in these different ways on the internet is because you just be looking at everything with lustful eyes, and your lustful eyes be blinding you to a point where you forget about everything else. Like I said, that's important to you, man. And you got to do what's important in spite of how you feel. Your feelings got to take a back seat to what's important. And a lot of times the things that you feel so strongly about ain't even, it don't be shit. But again, man, I have to keep saying this. The better technology becomes, the easier it is to get caught up. But on the same token, the better technology becomes, the more you have from technology to protect yourself and defend yourself, right? You just got to be inclined, man. Like Mac Dre said back in the day, man, a little bit of game is all it takes. Just a little bit of game, man. A little bit of game goes a long, long way. Shout out to Mac Dre, man. A little bit of game is all it takes. A little bit of game will save your life. A little bit of game will keep you out of the penitentiary. For real. And then some of y'all be having the game to use, but don't use it. Some of y'all be inclined with the game, but don't use it. I don't know. Maybe you don't think fat meat is greasy or something like that. I don't know. But some of you know better, but choose to do in spite of what you know. Shit crazy, man. Life is too beautiful, man, to get caught up. Man, I know it's some cats sitting on the yard right now because they did some goofy ass shit via text message or via phone call or on video or just, I know they sitting there, because of something stupid that they said, and they gotta feel a damn fool. Hey man, doing time ain't no joke, man. Being in jail, that shit is for the birds, man. Ain't nothing worth that shit. Like, hell no. But especially when you're there because of carelessness. You're there because you had some game, but you didn't utilize the game. You let the game sit on the back burner while you making moves, not even utilizing the game. Now you sitting in a joint. You dig? Magic Chris, as always, good looking with the $2 holla. Ronaldo Jason, good looking with the $2 holla. High speed internet, low speed internet, intellect, as I heard. Yeah, man. For real. But a lot of times too, cats be doing irrational things on the internet because they be intoxicated by the cloud. Like we was just talking about cloud a minute ago and how addictive it is, right? It's intoxicating. And as many of you know, when you intoxicated, man, you don't have your best judgment. When you intoxicated with alcohol, you're not gonna make the best judgment. When you high on weed, you're not gonna have the best judgment. Some of y'all probably think you do, but you really don't. Anything else, when you under the influence of substances and things like that, you don't have your best judgment. You're not gonna utilize your best judgment. Clout is the same way. When you and when I say clout, I'm talking about attention, right? Some of y'all be getting attention from females, and you get so caught up in the fact that this chick is giving you some attention or giving you some action that you're not even thinking about what you stand to lose if you move wrong with this attention that you're getting from this chick, with this clout that you're getting. You don't understand how it can cost you if you just just allow yourself to be careless, man. This shit is crazy. It's crazy the type of man. Like I said, the slightest little details, And then as far as y'all getting exposed for shit that you texted somebody, hey, you need to slap yourself 1,000 times. It's 2025. If you still texting bitches silly ass shit that could be easily screenshotted and posted on the internet, if you still doing that in 2020, man, slap yourself 1,000 times. For real though. That shit be tripping me out when I be seeing certain shit, man. Or like how some of y'all be texting people threats. If it's 2025, if you done texted somebody a threat, or you done said a threat over the phone to somebody, hey man, slap yourself 1,000 times. What is wrong with you? I know cloud is strong, but it's that strong? Attention is that strong? That shit is crazy. It's 2025 and people still doing that. People still getting exposed with screenshots. That shouldn't even be a thing no more. But it is. And, it be people that's supposed to be the pimping. And man, boy, y'all be getting exposed for some shit. Man, y'all be getting exposed for some shit. Via text message, screenshots. Y'all be getting exposed for some shit. That shit is crazy, the shit y'all be getting exposed for. Just, ungodly things, unmanly things. Just, bunch of uns. Unpimpish things. You dig? Uncool things, man. Y'all be getting exposed, man. One of the people that y'all be listening to that you think got so much game. Sending, dick pics to bitches. Hey, man, listen, man. It's 2025. If you still sending naked photos to females, man, slap yourself 1,000 times. Slap yourself 1,000 times if you are sending naked photos to chicks. That's the goofiest shit in the world. The goofiest shit, man. Boy trying to have his thing speak for him in ways that his mouth can't speak. Yeah, my mouth can't talk, You know, I can't get her attention with my mouth, but I get her attention with this though. How about it though? Woo, shit. And then, hey man, hey man, y'all just, that's silly, man. That is silly. If you have sent somebody a naked photo of yourself, and you supposed to be some pimping, man, slap yourself 1,000 times. I don't give a damn if the broad been with you for 5 years and y'all done been through all the ups and I don't give a damn. That shit is crazy. Then some of y'all be letting bras record you in the bedroom. You know what I mean? Doing the freaky deaky things. Like, y'all be letting chicks record you. Man, what's wrong with you? And you supposed to be some pimping. Shit crazy, man. Y'all be really trusting these chicks, huh? Y'all really be trusting these chicks for real. You be trusting them with, you know, your reputation and things like that. You know, you be thinking that they would never expose this about me. They would never post this on the internet. Hey, man, it's a broad, man. She gonna move based on how she feel. And there's no telling how she might feel 2 minutes from now, 2 days from now, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. And you got her with some shit in her phone or in her cloud or wherever it's at, you know what I mean? That can like just ruin you, destroy you. Ah, man. Hey, I'm like Sinful. Remember Sinful told y'all, man, that when it comes to them type of videos, man, he like Death Row, man. He own all the masters, man. I'm the same way, man. I own all the masters. You ain't gonna find nothing like, no, I own all the masters, man. I'm gonna just leave it there. Oh, man. But I ain't never sending nothing to nobody, though. I'm never doing that. I'm never sending no video to nobody. I'm never sending a picture to nobody. I'm never letting nobody put me on their phone. Hell no. Mr. Marcus the P, you stupid, Ronaldo Jason. Shit crazy, man. And see, like I said, it's somebody who did that got exposed for that a little while back that y'all be listening to think you just think this person got so much game. But just think about it though. If somebody is careless enough to do that same spirit of carelessness, you don't think that same spirit of carelessness will allow this supposed to be gamed up individual to say some dumb shit to a decoy and get caught up with a decoy? You putting that in the hands of somebody else, abroad at that, you know, this governed by feelings, governed by emotions. You putting that type of shit in the hands of somebody like that. You don't think that person will have the same spirit of carelessness when it comes to talking to a decoy on social media? Just think about that. But this is who y'all be listening to, though, for some game. Again, you know what I mean? Somebody who ain't proved nothing to nobody in the game, right? See, one thing about this pimping, man, you know, it's easy to get to the bottom of shit. And, you know, somebody whose history is a mystery, it don't surprise me when they do shit like that because you're not the pimping. You don't have a history in this shit. You ain't went through what we went through to get where we are. You know, you just got on the internet and created a persona, but you don't have a history in this shit. History is a mystery, right? And when you go through certain things in this game, man, it makes you value everything. You know? So and then he still don't get the right action. So choosable charm for real. Reading these comments, y'all. Excuse my pimping. And then also, man, if you have not wiped your feet off at the door when you stepped into a pimp's domain, please do so now. Hit that like button. The Black House says, "What about a decoy in person? How to properly get at them?" I'm gonna be real with you, man. In a lot of cases, man, the moment you acknowledge a decoy in person, you don't even have to say or do anything incriminating. The moment you make contact with a decoy in person, 9 times out of 10, they're going to wrap you up. Now, again, depending on whether or not you didn't say anything incriminating or do anything incriminating, of course, you got action at beating it. But as far as like in the moment, to be honest with you, 9 times out of 10, they gonna wrap you up. They gonna take you in. Even if you didn't say nothing or do nothing, just making contact, because that's how thirsty they be. Now, if they was smart, they would, try to give you the opportunity to incriminate yourself. But then if you're smart in that situation and you pick up on the fact that this is a decoy, and so you being careful with your words and your movements, and you not incriminating yourself, again, like I said, a lot of times they just be so thirsty that they'll still take you in, but it's beatable though. Right? Again, like I said, there's ways to position people to prove themselves. Right? I'm trying to think of how I can describe this situation without saying too much, man. But there was a time where I was somewhere and I was speaking to a person, and I realized that this person that I was speaking to was, somebody that I shouldn't have been speaking to. Right? My sixth sense just told me, like, this person is no good. The appearance of things was great though. It looked like, something nice. A lot of people gonna get caught up messing with this because they gonna be so mesmerized by the appearance that, again, they gonna let their guard down and let this individual have their way. But me, I didn't allow the appearance of things to charm and disarm me. I wasn't disarmed and I wasn't charmed. I like what I'm looking at, but still I'm a saying do certain things to figure out what's going on. So I did that, and I never said anything wrong or did anything wrong, because from the moment the contact was made, I had a funny vibe, and that vibe served me correctly, right? But within this encounter, I got these people's phone number, right? And there was, an attempt made, defense was played on me, right? Defense was played on me, but I walked away victoriously that day, right? By the grace of God. It was a beautiful thing. But after the fact, they played hard defense on me too, but I was blessed. I'll say that much, right? But when I got, to a good enough place, I Googled the phone number, right? And it was like what I just told you. Like one digital footprint in one place, the place where we was at, and the digital footprint stopped there. Right? Now, if this is somebody who is who they say they are, the digital footprints ain't gonna stop there. They gonna keep going, and the digital footprints is gonna lead to different places and different things, and you're gonna be able to see that this person is who they say they are, right? But the digital footprint stopped. They didn't go far at all. It was like one digital footprint, that's it. Right here, where we at. I ain't going. Some people will see that one digital footprint and be like, okay, it's official. All right, cool. Nah. Because some phone numbers you Google, there's no digital footprint at all. But this number, it was a digital footprint, but it didn't go far, right? So that reaffirmed to me what I already knew in the moment, right? But, to be real with you, a lot of people wouldn't have been able to handle themselves the way I did in that situation because, that just comes from like years of experience, years of, going through it to get to it. I done been through so much with them types of individuals that, I just know how to handle myself, right? But everybody doesn't have that kind of, experience, wisdom, discernment, what have you. So a lot of people, they would have been, in a jumpsuit with a bologna sandwich. But again, like I said, even in spite of the fact that I didn't say or do anything wrong, they still played defense on me and tried to tackle me. I just was able to, Barry Sanders my way up out of it, and I was cool. But they did play defense on me, even though I didn't give them a reason to play defense on me. I didn't give them anything, right? So, yeah, they will try to wrap you up just based on the contact. You know what I mean? Just based on the contact, they'll try to wrap you up. Now, had they tackled me, you know what I mean, and took me back to their end zone, I probably would have still been able to win the game. I probably still would have been able to come out of there victoriously, but it would have been a hell of an inconvenience. I probably would still be playing the game, fighting to win right now. And this was a while ago when that took place. That's just how they get down. They inconvenience you when they're able to tackle you and take you back to their end zone. That now they got you where they want you. So they're gonna play the inconvenience game, right? They're gonna inconvenience you to the max. But at the end of the day, they didn't have nothing. So. But yeah, man, you just got to be careful. And, again, like I said, what makes me that way in those moments is because is that, I value what I have. I value my freedom. I value my life. I value, the liberty to do all of the things that I do. I value the fact that I'm able to be a blessing to other people, the way that I'm able to be a blessing to other people. I value the fact that I have, certain responsibilities when it comes to other people and how I can, uphold those responsibilities. I value all of that shit. And I think about all that shit when I'm out moving around doing my thing. So, that protects me. That guards me in them type of situations, right? But, again, as I've said before, to avoid those types of situations in person, it's good to observe and stay preserved until you see who deserves your time, as Sinful to P would say. You just got to observe, right? And with this situation that I'm talking about where they played defense on me, I didn't observe the way that I should have before I gave this individual my time. Now, when I decided to give this individual my time, I'm still guarded, right? So I didn't say or do anything wrong, but it shouldn't have even gone that far because I should have sat back and observed, right? And if I would have sat back and observed, I would have realized that, this person don't even deserve my time. Like, I shouldn't even say anything to this person. I shouldn't even make contact with this person, right? If I would have sat back and, observed and paid attention and read everything that was going on, you know what I mean? And I know how to do that, but I didn't. But when I got involved, I still was careful, but I should have never even got involved is what I'm saying, right? So I know some of y'all squares is probably like, man, what the hell is he talking about? It's a game-related conversation right now. You know what I mean? We talking baseball. You dig? Baseball and football, But yeah, man, it's just good to observe and stay preserved until you see who deserves your time, because you save yourself a lot of trouble like that, not only from those types of individuals, but just punk ass bras that don't deserve your time or deserve your efforts, whether it's face to face or on the internet or any of that. You know what I mean? Because me valuing myself has saved me so much trouble, man. Especially on the internet. You know how many chicks get in my DM or my inbox on Facebook acting like they want to choose, acting like they want to do something, acting like they want to do this, saying they want to do this, saying they want to do that. You know how many chicks talk about it, act like it? Man, if I was just thirsty or if I was just a sucker and I didn't value myself, man, I probably wouldn't even be here right now. Me valuing myself has saved me so much trouble from, the types of individuals who don't deserve it. And because me valuing myself, I'ma always position somebody to prove themselves. And most of them just can't stand up to the task of proving themselves. I'm going to put this in front of you. I'm going to put this in front of you. I'm going to put this in front of you. And if you can't get past this, then, you've proven that you don't deserve to be right here. If you can't get past, and this is easy to get past. This ain't even no hell of a shit. This is just, it's that simple. It's not no hell of a like, oh man, damn, that's a lot of shit. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna get past that? No, it ain't even all that. It's just like, damn, bitch, this all you got, bitch, this all you gotta do. This all you gotta do. And then walk on and we right here. You know what I mean? It ain't no hell of a shit. But some chicks, they see this and they get discouraged. And they not gonna do what's necessary to get past this ABC 1, 2, 3 ass shit. So, okay, if you don't want to get past this ABC 1, 2, 3 ass shit to prove to me that it's even worth my while to engage with you, then we don't have nothing to talk about. Best of blessings to you. It's nothing to talk about. You know what I mean? But most of y'all, you don't even put this in front of the chick to prove herself. You just you on your Bob Barker, Price is Right. Come on down. You know what I mean? You just let her come on down and just have her way. And it's like she ain't did nothing to prove herself. And this is what I want you to understand too. When I say prove herself, I ain't talking about her just tearing it off and handing it over. It take a whole lot more for a chick to prove herself than that. Because, you know, like I was saying about chicks the other day, you know, who make a lot of mistakes when money is all it takes for somebody to access them. It's the same thing with the pimping. If you some pimping and money alone is all it takes for a chick to gain access to you, hey man, you gon' the game gonna push you out the way real quick. For real. If money is all it takes for a chick to gain access to you, if all it takes is her, you know, saying that she gonna hand it over and then her actually handing it, if that's all it takes, man, you know, a chick might hand it over just to get access to you so that she can, you know, do damage in your life. Chick might hand it over to you just to gain access to you and find out the layout that you got going on so she could put, you know, her boyfriend in your business. And her boyfriend is a goon, Pooh Shiesty time. You know? But money is all it took for her to get in with you and do that. You know what I mean? I remember one time I had this was a long time ago, man. It's a long time ago. I had this chick out of pocket at the Greyhound station, right? And, you know, I quickly realized that, you know, this punk, and I told some of y'all this story, but I quickly realized that this punk, you know, she was a punk, but I still was entertaining. But whatever the case, right? She had told me with her goofy ass, she had let me know that she was on her way to Vegas to go back with a dude that she had been with before, right? She had been with this guy before, then left him, had his name tattooed. She had like 6 names tattooed on her. That was another red flag, right? But the guy who she was going to see in Vegas was one of those 6 names. She had covered his name up before, but then got his name re-tatted on her when she was going to go back to Vegas. But this broad told me her plan. She was just going back to Vegas to get in cool with him so she could take his jewelry and his money because she know where he keep his jewelry and his money at. Right? And she ended up doing some police stuff on me, right? So I contacted the dude. Now, me and him, we wasn't partners, you know, but when she said who it was, I was familiar with who it was, right? Me and him never campaigned together. We wasn't buddies or nothing like that, but just, you know, common courtesy in the game. I, you know, hit him and made him privy to what the broad had told me. You know, and do you know, in spite of all of that, I let him know how she did some police shit to me. I let him know what her plan was when she was going to go to Vegas for and all that shit. And he still, in spite of all of that, took the broad. Now, I don't know what he did afterwards, or I don't know what took place afterward, but in spite of all that, he still let her come. So, you know, man, again, you know, some cats, man, they don't think fat meat is greasy, man. They don't think fire is hot. And they like playing with the shit. But the bottom line, man, you got to be careful. The bottom line, you got to value yourself. Value what you have. Like I said from the beginning of this live, you know, get into the habit of counting your blessings, because when you count your blessings on a regular basis and you always got your blessings at the forefront of your mind, you're going to do what's necessary to guard those blessings, to preserve those blessings, to amplify those blessings, and, you know, grow and make more blessings. You know, you're just going to do what's necessary to protect all of that when you get into the habit of counting blessings, you know, and things that you would normally compromise these blessings for. When you get into the habit of counting these blessings, you're not going to compromise them for, you know, a chick that's just talking about what she going to do on the internet. You know, you're not going to compromise your blessings when you really got it in the forefront of your mind everything that you blessed with, and then you got this chick who could potentially compromise all of that if you move the wrong way in dealing with her. You're not going to do that. It ain't even worth all that. But yeah, man, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing on up. If you ain't wiped your feet off at the door when you stepped into a pimp's domain, please do so before we go. You dig? Hydrate my game one more again. Yeah, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this one. I know I enjoyed giving it to you. You dig? Hold up. All right. But as always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and tapping in with a pimp. I appreciate you for sharing this video. I appreciate you for all the comments, questions, input, jokes, feedback, all that good stuff. I appreciate you for subscribing to this channel and hitting the bell when you subscribe. I appreciate all the super chats, the cash apps, the PayPals. I appreciate your support in every which way that you comes with it, man. Y'all already know who it is and what it is. Freeze is it. If you out in traffic moving around, please do so in a safe fashion. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. We out.